Did the future already happen? We've all felt like the future is getting shorter, but that's probably just a consequence of time passing more quickly as you age. Unless, of course, the future didn't happen, which is possible if the future already happened. In this episode, we'll follow the breadcrumbs of Einstein's theories and quantum physics into a wonderland of eternal futures and stacked universes. In this strange place, the past and the future are just as real as the present. And what we call the present is just a trick of our eyes. In order to figure this out, we need to make a few stops along the way. First, let's agree on what we mean by the past, the present, and the future. It's not that hard except for the part where we humans usually like to make a big deal out of the fact that now is the only time that exists. The rest is either memory or fiction. And if you want to live in the present moment, you should join me in my class on effective altruism. All right, back to the topic. The now is pretty easy to understand. It's everything that's happening right now. If you were writing down everything that's happening in the universe at any given moment, now would be the line you just wrote. But what about yesterday? Yesterday is all the things that happened before now, but after the day before yesterday. So yesterday must have existed, right? Yes, indeed. The past is everything that's happened in the universe until now. Everything that's happened somewhere must have happened in some moment. And since there are countless moments in the past, countless things must exist in the past. Then what about the future? Well, the future is all the things that will happen after now, so it seems logical to conclude that if the past and the now both exist, then the future must also exist. But why should the future exist? Even if the future technically exists, it's not real, right? It's just a projection of potential developments, a movie playing on the screen of reality. But if the future is merely projected, then it's entirely determined by the past. If you know what happened in the past, then you can calculate what will happen in the future. This is the determinism of classical physics. So if the future is merely a projection, then we wouldn't need to exist in the future to make it real. It would exist even without us. And then it wouldn't matter whether the future exists or not. But we feel like the future matters. Every decision we make today creates the future. So it would make sense if the future actually existed. Well, here's where our story takes a turn. Albert Einstein told us that time is not absolute, but depends on how fast you're moving. When you're sitting still, your now is the same as the now of all the people standing still next to you. But if you start to fly around, you'll find that your now differs from the now of the people standing still. Because time depends on how fast you move, a person on a fast spaceship would age slower than you. But wait a second. If I sit still and watch that person, then from my perspective, they would be the ones aging slower. Actually, the difference in how we age only becomes apparent if we compare the endpoints of our journeys. If I stay still and watch you fly around for a while and then return to Earth, you would have aged less than me. But this would only become apparent when we compare our ages again. Until then, our ages are identical. In essence, time only passes if you compare different moments. Otherwise, it just sits there. Einstein generalized this idea to all of space and time. It's called the theory of relativity. Einstein showed that the passage of time depends on how fast you move through space. He also showed that the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. This means that there are infinitely many nows in the universe, and each of them is equally real. There is no universal now, only your now. So if the future is all the things that haven't happened yet, then the future is actually contained in every now. All possible futures exist simultaneously in the universe. Now comes the next surprise, the bizarre world of quantum mechanics. According to quantum mechanics, individual particles cannot have a precisely defined path through time. Because a particle can be in two places at once, its path through time could be in two places at once. Therefore, the future of a quantum particle is uncertain. If quantum effects are real, then the future is real, but it's undetermined. It's not that we can't calculate the future. It's that the future literally doesn't exist before it happens. Only when we measure the position of a particle do we force it to choose a particular path. So before measurement, all paths are equally real. A quantum particle is small enough that we can observe this behavior, but large objects are made of particles. And when it comes to larger things like cats and planets, quantum effects become less noticeable, so we can mostly ignore the uncertainty of quantum mechanics. For large things, the future is real. but it doesn't contain anything new. It only duplicates what's already there. Since large objects are made of a huge number of small objects, there are uncountably many ways to arrange those small objects. So there are uncountably many possible futures for a large object, but every one of these futures is a copy of the present. Since the past consists of all the moments that have already happened, the past is real. And the present consists of all the futures that could happen. The present is also real. Therefore, the past and the present are real, but the future is not. It's a set of possibilities, a set of fictions. We imagine the future as something that doesn't exist yet, but the truth is the future exists. It's just waiting for the opportunity to happen. But if the future is real, then the present is also real. And if the past and the present are real, then the future must also be real. After all, the future is nothing but the next moment. So it looks like the only thing that makes sense is to say that the future, the present, and the past all exist. But then if the future exists, shouldn't we be able to access it? If all moments are real, then shouldn't we be able to time travel? It turns out that if you're careful, you can do exactly that. All you need is a spaceship and an infinite amount of fuel. By traveling fast enough, you could jump far into the future and return to the past. But if you went backwards long enough, you would return to the beginning of the